Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. This is the place to come to if you want the latest on health and healing and happiness and living a longer life. Today, we're going to begin with a study from Johns Hopkins University's Bloomberg School of Public Health. It talks about how high antioxidant fruits top the list of items that can protect your lungs. Now, the European Respiratory Journal, major journal, published the results of a study that found protective effects for tomatoes and other high antioxidant fruits against the decline in lung function that can occur during aging. In the present study, they sought to investigate whether a higher intake of dietary sources of antioxidants in the middle-aged European adults could attenuate aging-related lung function decline over a 10-year period. And this was very important. So just think of it this way. If you want to have healthier lungs as you age, why wouldn't you? Then look at the antioxidant-rich foods, what we call the ORAC, O-R-A-C. Now that represents all of the antioxidants in your diet. The more high ORAC, the more antioxidants. The more antioxidants, the more free radicals that damage our cells, that cause the inflammation, that cause the cells to decline and die. Those are trapped. For example, anything with vitamin C and quercetin and vitamin E that goes through your body, it grabs onto these free radicals and neutralizes them. So the more antioxidants, which means more fruits in your diet, and especially the juices. If you were to make yourself a fresh glass of orange juice, you'd be doing a lot of benefit to stopping the antioxidants which cause the inflammation. So therefore, you can turn off inflammation in your joints, your hips, your back, your knees, your neck, and you would be able to help rejuvenate the body. Watermelon, one of the tops, raspberries, cherries, especially tart Montmorency cherries, turn off inflammation but are rich in antioxidants. And a new study that just came out in the last few months is rather remarkable, because you would think with all the science that we have and all the high technology that can determine the benefits of a particular group of foods or individual food, we missed it. We didn't get it right. And that is that vitamin C is 10 times more powerful than what we had ever imagined or realized. So some people thought, well, I'll take a glass of orange juice, maybe an 8-ounce glass. That'll give me, what, about 100 milligrams of vitamin C? No, it gives you a lot more, as does grapefruit juice too. And so the more of that good quality organic orange juice you put in your body, the more antioxidants you have. Because a lot of people just don't take supplements. And when they do take supplements, they don't take the right supplements, the right amounts, the right combinations. So I say, let's just start with the basics. How about increase your intake of fruits and especially apples? The apple skin is where the nutrients are. So why not just peel 4 apples, take the skins, and put them into a blender or juice extractor, and then put that in your smoothie. You're getting a tremendous amount of quercetin. By the way, I'm here in front of a high-resolution camera. I'm only about 4 feet from the camera itself, and I have several lights on. These are 400 watt lights. So no makeup, just got out of the shower and took some water and threw it through my hair. And take a careful look at my skin. Why? And my nails. Why? Nails are hard, pink, and shiny. That shows that the nutrition that I'm taking in is manifesting in the quality of the skin. Now, because the amount of vitamin C and quercetin, Quercetin, onions and apples, 2 of your best sources for supplement. And I take the same amount of quercetin I do as vitamin C throughout the day. Because as you're working out, and I'm in training now for races, I just finished a race, and at state championship level. So you're using more vitamin C. And as you use more vitamin C and other nutrients, you have to replace them. And we forget that. Oh, once in the morning is all we need. It's not true. You need nutrients all day. And before I go to bed at night, I take about 2 hours to 3 hours before, I take several nutrients to protect my body and to help it in its catabolic, or slowing down, cleansing and detoxifying your skin cells, your intestinal cells, the food going through your intestine, the peristalsis, the wave-like movement of food to get it out of the body, get the nutrients absorbed. And all that is good. But to help it, I take magnesium, coenzyme Q10, L-carnitine for the heart and for the brain. Also vitamin C and quercetin, cayenne pepper at a high heat, a capsule, because it thins the blood and prevents aggregate accumulation, the cells clumping together. That helps prevent a stroke. You'd be amazed at how many strokes occur in the middle of the night. So this is one of the things you can do to protect yourself. If you have trouble sleeping, then take theanine, 200 milligrams, or you can also take melatonin, 1 to 3 milligrams. These things help us, but nothing replaces the high quality food. So you can juice the apples, you can puree the apples and make them into a hot syrup. If you want something really tasty, I'll share a recipe with you. And I'm always in the kitchen creating recipes. That's what I do I'll take a break in the afternoon for about an hour. I'll go into the kitchen to make my meal. I eat my dinner early. And because I want a long period of time between my dinner and my breakfast, 15 hours. That's the intermittent fasting phenomenon, really de-ages you. And so anyhow, let's say we take some steel cut oatmeal, that's the healthy oatmeal, or millet, or red quinoa, and the millet takes almost no cooking at all. In fact, you can take a bowl of millet and always rinse your grains, put them in a big bowl. I make about a week's worth of time. Then I'll pour some hot water, boiling water on it, not to soak it. Then I stir it around and put a little towel on it. And an hour later, it's ready to eat. And it's got all the nutrients intact. But then I can take some puree of apple, much like applesauce, but you make it yourself. And I blend it in with some cinnamon and some Manuka honey. Manuka honey is the most medicinal, healing honey. I put it on wounds, scratches. I work on, a farm here. You're always getting some kind of cut or scratch because putting up new fencing and working with animals. So clean it out, hydrogen peroxide, then colloidal silver, then some Manuka honey. But when you have that kind of breakfast, you throw in some bananas. They're really good for you. And then sprinkle a little bit of extra vitamin C in there. That's a phenomenal breakfast. And that has been associated with a reduction in the decline of forced vital capacity, FVC. That's another measure of lung function. And further statistical analysis found significant benefit from tomatoes. The more tomatoes you take in, the more tomato juice, and you use lemon and lime instead of salt. Because a lot of these bottles, if you look at 700 milligrams in one serving, whoa, that'll spike your blood pressure. So if you're a smoker or had been, and then you especially need to be helping with apples, bananas, and tomatoes to reduce your PFC. So that's important as well. So red fruits going to slow down the lungs' natural aging process, even if you've never smoked. So, and it's all published in the peer-reviewed journal, a long-term study. Now, to continue with our discussion of antioxidants, the Polytech Institute in Lausanne, France, found that antioxidant enzymes protect the telomeres. This was published in the peer-reviewed journal Cell Reports, and it discovered that by these scientists that antioxidant enzyme that protects the cell's telomerase That's an enzyme sequence of repetitive nucleotides, which in turn cap and protect the chromosomes. So to make it simple, telomeres are especially vulnerable to damage caused by oxygen-free radicals, or what we call oxidative stress. So when I'm running, I'm creating better body, burning fat, laying down new muscle, strength, endurance, stamina, balance. But I'm also creating premature aging because I'm increasing the free radicals in my body, and I'm doing that by oxidative stress. Inhale, exhale. We all have to do it every second, but that exchange between oxygen coming in and carbon dioxide coming out, that's called oxidative stress. Now, you can enhance that, make it worse when you smoke, when you drink alcohol, when you eat fried foods, you eat sugar, when you're around a toxic environment, when you're stressed. All that creates an increase in oxidative stress. Oxidative stress creates free radicals. The free radicals are the byproduct of normal metabolism. And so we can't get rid of free radicals, but if we have a particular antioxidant enzyme, let me spell it for you. PEROXIREDOXIN 1, or just abbreviate PRDX1. Now that antioxidant enzyme, which is completely natural, on telomeres during the cell cycle in which the cells synthesize new DNA and duplicate its genetic material, as well as during the next phase when the cell grows before dividing, well, all this manifests in what happens with oxidative damage. You want to keep the end caps of your chromosomes protected, because when they begin to unravel, just like a shoestring and the little plastic tip comes off and it starts to unravel, the cell dies. So the longer the telomeres, the longer the cell. And every organ of the body will be impacted differently depending upon what you expose it to. Constructively, like a fresh glass of vegetable juice, really good for you. A glass of beer, alcohol, bad for you. I won't go into the chemistry because it's a little complicated, but I'll put it in very lay language. The more healthy living and raw foods you consume, and juices in particular, the longer the lifespan of those chromosomes. Exercising lengthens the chromosomes, and that halts the growth of the process that damages the nucleotide. So, oxidative stress damages telomeres. Vitamin C traps the antioxidants. Quercetin traps the antioxidants. Vitamin E traps the antioxidants. Zinc traps the antioxidants. So you've got all these antioxidants that can trap the damaging free radicals and therefore protecting your telomeres. Well, when you have a good, healthy plant-based diet with lots of juices, you're protecting your telomeres. Taking supplements intelligently that you need and the amounts the body benefits from super benefits the aging process and super protects the telomeres. And that's why, for example, when you want healthy skin that's tight, simple, there are bands in here, muscles. And when you're taking vitamin C and quercetin, that helps reconnect and tighten the collagen. Now, much like underwear, when it gets to a certain point, the elasticity begins to diminish and it loses its tightness and it falls. Not likely to throw stuff away I could so use. I used to put a safety pin, or a bobby pin in there. I'm probably not the only person that's done that. But in any case, now with all the vitamin C and antioxidants I take, the skin naturally tightens. No Botox. I don't use Botox because Botox is a poison. It actually poisons the cells and the muscles, not the skin. It doesn't decrease wrinkles. It literally paralyzes the muscles that the skin hangs on, and therefore your face is really not moving, so the skin doesn't wrinkle. But you have to keep doing it. and you're destroying your immune system in the process. Because why don't they ever tell you this? Oh, before we put the needles in your forehead and around your eyes, make you look like you're, a plastic doll, you were putting a poison in your body, a toxin, and your body's immune system now is going to have to go there and try to destroy all that Botox pollution. So you're not going to have the same immune response everywhere else in the body because it's taking it from everywhere to get it where it's most impactful. So understand you're going to be more susceptible to other diseases because of putting Botox in your body. Why not put vitamin C in your body? Because it actually reconnects the collagen. And none of the other stuff they're talking about works. Just saying. And this is a different play on the same study I've been mentioning. This is from Beta College Medicine. Dawn to dusk, dry fasting leads to health benefits in the study of immune cells. Now, as researchers at Beta College of Medicine have found more evidence that dry fasting, meaning fasting without food or liquid intake from dawn to dusk, can play an important role in your health. This was published in Metabolism Open. I challenged them on this, and they're finding that it has an anti-arthritic, anti-inflammation, anti-tumorigenic effect on the proteins in the type of immune cells called peripheral blood mononuclear cells, or PBMC. However, what you're doing is you're eliminating hydration throughout the day with, you're fasting without liquid intake. I consider that dangerous. I would never advocate that, but it's going to be popularized now. And also, your blood sugar fluctuates throughout the day. Let's just say that you're a diabetic. You could go into a very serious blood abnormality stage and blood fasting stage. I would never recommend long fasting for a diabetic like this. And you need energy. Think of the people who have hypoglycemia. Think of people who have very fast metabolism. So this is the kind of research that you better take a careful look at, because always use liquids throughout the day. Your body requires it. And also, when you're not using liquids throughout the day, let's just say that it's you're in California and it's a sunny day and you're out and you're moderately exercising and you go for a walk, but you're on this particular type of protocol. And what's happening to your blood? Your blood is thickening. You need liquids to thin the blood, to allow better transport of the blood vessels and oxygen. So I would debate them on this. I just shared this with you to show you that there's a lot going on out there I do not agree with. And I believe that we should have open and honest and civil dialogue and discussions. And one last thing here. This is from the University of Manchester. Tomatoes can combat the damaging effects of radiation. That's correct. A team of researchers have discovered that lycopene, Lycopene, the red pigment in tomatoes and watermelon, is extremely successful at guarding against the harmful effects of radiation. Dr. Ruth Edge from the University of Manchester, together with other professors from Keele University, did this study. And they found that one of the carotenoids, and by the way, there are many carotenoids, plant pigments that give the plant their color, lots of fruits and vegetables, and therefore juicing gives you this full spectrum, is effective at protecting against radiation. It's that simple. It's been used to treat a wide range of tumors. And so just a little bit of information. And that's the latest on health and healing. Remember, every Monday at 6 a.m., you can end up getting a free copy of a newsletter of all the information I shared. So let's say you couldn't write everything down, it'll be there for you. All the source material, and all of it comes from peer review publications from respected universities. And I think that that's very important. You have that. Now, that's free. If you want Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's newsletter, there's far more information, including I'm doing a commentary, and that will go into their investigative reports go in there, recipes, all kinds of information goes into that. There's a small fee for that. Let me just give you one example. This is from the University of North Carolina. Do the negative ways that others treat us contribute to later self-harm? Engaging in self-harming behaviors without the intention to die, or non-suicidal self-injury, like cutting, which is very common today in young people, increases dramatically in the transition from the childhood to adolescence and continues to grow throughout the teen years. So, just remember, when you're doing anything to harm yourself, anything, including self-pity, making yourself be a victim, and my goodness, do we have a nation of people who, instead of dealing with the reality of life, its issues, and looking honestly at what were you missing in the tools that you were given when you were growing up and you had no control over it. It's not your fault, but your parents may be negligent. Maybe they just didn't see it was that important for you to have certain input. Maybe they gave you too much freedom. Maybe you come from an entitled background. Maybe you're one of the tens of millions of people that never have to worry because someone's always going to clean up after you. Someone's always going to give you money when you need the money. And then one day you simply forget how important it was for someone to work for what they were giving you and you got for free. And so you take it for granted. Then you feel deprived when you don't get it. And then you get angry and you lash out at people because you are really a victim because you didn't get what you want. Ever notice that in people? Sure you do. It's everywhere, especially in the woke generation, especially in the entitled generation, and especially in the irresponsible generation. That's probably half of all the people currently in the United States. So what's the end game? It's not good. Because everything that you do in a negative way, you become. Oh, that shortens your lifespan? Sure does. Increase your risk of heart attacks and strokes and cancers, depression, anxiety disorders? Sure does. Shortens your telomeres? Absolutely. So think of it this way. When I woke up this morning, first thing I did was take a look at my bed and I made it. You could bounce a quarter off. I do that every day. And when I got out of my workout and finished my shower, I sprayed down the shower. Just took some hydrogen peroxide spray and sprayed it down, wiped it down. It took me about 2 minutes. Finished brushing my teeth and flossing and mouthwash and getting ready. After that, I just took a moment and I cleaned down the wash bowl, made sure there was no flecking material on the mirror. Simple things, but they all had something in common. The intent to live this day in balance and be conscious of my choices. What do I do? And how many people don't make their beds and don't care? Don't iron their own clothes, don't wash their own clothes, don't put it away, or give it away if they no longer are using it, which is important too. Let others have what we no longer feel we need. And just taking care of the hygiene. I once went to my brother's, my older brother, Howard, and I was doing a reunion and I was doing a documentary. I haven't shown that documentary. Rodney asked Sharon to get my documentary of my trip 12 years ago back to Parkersburg, West Virginia, when I wanted to show people what it was like growing up in a small town and meeting some of the people, my school teachers and neighbors, and what life was like for them. How are they happy that are not living in a big city? I remember when I came to New York, I just couldn't imagine these tall buildings, all these wonderful art pieces, and these beautiful parks, and the people so open and engaging, and sometimes brutally honest. Never ask a New Yorker what they think because they're going to tell you, right or wrong. That's one of the things I love about New Yorkers and New York. And I didn't find it to be a cold and hostile and brutal negative place. To the contrary. So I did this documentary, but my brother said, come, stay here. Okay, so I went over to his house. And I went into the guest bedroom. I said, Howard, when was the last time you washed the sheets? He said, why? Are there two sheets standing by themselves in the corner? Howard, it won't hurt you to actually wash something once in a while. Oh, they're okay. They're clean. They haven't been used in a long time. Did you wash them after the last person used them? Why should I? Nobody else was going to be here. So then I went to take a shower. And my brother deserved the Nobel Prize in science because he had, I'm sure, at least 10 species of living anthrax, botulism, bubonic plague in his shower. You knew you shouldn't take a shower when they're laughing at you. Say, step on in, step on in. We won't hurt you. So black rings around the shower. And I said, Howard, do you ever clean the shower? He said, why should you? I take a shower there. The water cleans everything. No, it didn't in this case. Looked in his freezer. Howard, is this freezer older than the Ice Age? Because there's something back in the back there that doesn't look like it's dead and it looks very old. Well, you freeze things, they preserve. Howard, we have thawing of the permafrost, and botulism is now becoming present. It lives. Freezing doesn't stop aging, it slows it down. And is there any of these things that you actually use within the expiration date? Because I see everything's expired. And he just laughed. And the light was coming through the window and you could just see all the dust and molds and danders. And I said, I'll go to the hotel. And of course, that's how I grew up. No sense of, in my family, this hygiene and cleaning stuff. A lot of people still have that today. So how you start the day with a positive mindset, that you're going to do something today for other people. You're going to honor your spiritual. It doesn't matter if you get a thank you. It doesn't matter if they appreciate you, but do something for other people. Even people who don't expect that you're going to do something nice for them, a stranger. Think how many times we walk by people and we think, well, I'm glad that's not me. Well, why don't you stop and ask what it's like to be that person? Can you help them in some way? We can always help someone in some way. Just bearing witness if we're totally broke ourselves to someone else who's totally broke. And try to find a reason not to be laying there all day. There were two guys on my block in New York, and they each had one side of the street, and they had shopping carts and bags and gloves and masks, and they go through everyone's garbage, and they take what was recyclable and put it back and tie up the bags again. You'd never know they were there. And so I stopped them, and I said, how much money are you earning? They said, well, on a good day, we can recycle probably about $20 each. And then we take that's $40, and there's a hotel up here, and we can stay there for $40. So at least no matter what the weather, we've got a hot plate, and we can have a shower and a bed, and then we do it all over again the next day. I just thought that was terrific that people were motivated. And then I started seeing it elsewhere. And now it's like all over the Upper West Side. People have got their shopping carts, and you'll see them in the morning. Well, good for them. Because we all are going through challenges in life. Some just the aging process is a challenge. So why don't we just start the day with positive thoughts? Look for abundance in everything. The abundance in a smile, the abundance in people, the abundance of people who failed and got back up again, learn their lesson, and go on with life. Because that's one good way of dealing with it. Discipline. But you could get up and feel angry. I didn't get what I deserve. I'm a victim. Really? Have you analyzed your participation? I'm not responsible for anything. Other people cause all my problems. Okay. And where do you think that's going to lead you? Who's going to hire you if you're going to be hyper judgmental and opinionated about everything on a negative level? Well, you could join WBI Sport. They have plenty of negative people. They have some good people, but my God, whoa, nothing gets done when you got this conflict. You need to get the conflict out of your life and not be the conflict in your life. Because if you start now with the negative mindset, and if you're a young person, you're cutting yourself, because you've got unresolved issues, seek help from people who are humanistic and qualified, because what lies ahead of you is going to be worse than the moment you're in now. Just a thought. We're going to take a break and come right back. We have a lot to share. So go to GaryNull.com. New articles all the time, film clips, there to help you in your journey. Back in a moment.